Have you ever stood up from a chair and felt a twinge in your knees or a little wobble in your balance, and thought to yourself, when did that start happening? You're not alone. One day you're running around chasing your grandkids, and the next, you're noticing it takes a little more effort to get out of bed. It sneaks up, doesn't it? Aging can feel like it just arrives on your doorstep overnight. But here's the truth. Getting older doesn't mean slowing down or giving up the things you love. In fact, the right kind of movement can be the secret sauce to staying independent, vibrant, and full of life. Now, I'm not talking about running marathons or bench pressing your weight. I'm talking about simple, practical exercises, movements anyone can start doing, that gently build strength, improve balance, and boost energy. The kind of movements that allow you to keep doing the things that bring you joy, whether it's gardening, traveling, dancing, or just walking without fear of falling. Here's something science has confirmed over and over again. Regular physical activity is one of the most powerful tools we have to promote healthy aging. According to the National Institute on Aging, exercise doesn't just help with mobility. It also supports brain health, immune function, heart health, and even your mood. And the best part, you don't need fancy equipment or expensive gym memberships. What you need is a little consistency and the right moves. In this video series, we're going to explore 5 key exercises that support healthy aging, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally too. Each one has been shown to support mobility, reduce fall risk, ease pain, and even sharpen the mind. And you'll be surprised at how accessible these are. Before we keep going, I'd love your help with something. If you're enjoying this video so far, comment Y below. If not, comment N. It helps me know what's working and what to improve. And don't forget to hit subscribe if you haven't yet. Now let's dive deeper. Let's start with something so simple that it's often overlooked: walking. Yes, walking. If you just rolled your eyes a little and thought, that's it? Walking. Stick with me for a moment. Walking is perhaps the most underrated form of exercise out there. It's easy to do, low impact, and it engages the whole body. But what makes it a powerhouse for healthy aging is that it doesn't just strengthen your legs. It also benefits your heart, lungs, joints, and brain. In fact, a 2019 study published in JAMA Network Open found that older adults who walked at least 4,000 steps per day had a significantly lower risk of death compared to those who walked less. And that was true even if they didn't do intense workouts. Walking improves circulation, supports healthy blood pressure, and even helps manage blood sugar. And mentally, there's something incredibly calming about a steady walk. Many people say it's when they do their best thinking. It gives the brain space to breathe. Now, if you're thinking, well, I can't walk like I used to, that's okay. Start with 5 minutes a day. If you can walk down the hallway and back, great. The point is not how far or fast, but that you're moving. I know a woman named June in her early 70s who started walking her dog just 1 extra block a day. It didn't feel like much, but within 2 months, she noticed her knees weren't bothering her as much. By 6 months, she was walking a mile and had more energy than she'd had in years. Her secret? Just keeping at it, 1 step at a time. Now let's talk about something equally vital but often ignored: balance. As we age, our balance naturally declines, which makes falls one of the biggest health risks for older adults. But here's the good news. Balance is something you can train, just like a muscle. That's where our second exercise comes in, the single leg stand. This one's as straightforward as it sounds. Stand near a wall or sturdy chair, lift 1 foot a few inches off the ground, and try to balance. Even just 10 to 15 seconds on each leg, a couple of times a day, can make a huge difference over time. Why does this work? Because it activates your stabilizer muscles, those tiny muscles in your feet, ankles, and hips that often weaken with age. Plus, it helps train your brain to respond more quickly when you trip or slip. And the best part is, it's incredibly easy to fit into your day. Do it while brushing your teeth, while waiting for the microwave. Anytime really. I remember my Uncle Tom. He had a bad fall a few years back, and it really shook his confidence. He started doing these balance exercises daily, and after a few months, not only did he stop using his cane, but he also started taking short hikes again. He told me once, it's not about being young again, it's about feeling steady. And that's exactly the point. Aging well isn't about trying to rewind the clock. It's about strengthening what we have and working with our bodies, not against them. So we've started with walking and balance, two of the most foundational, easy-to-start exercises for healthy aging. But we're just getting warmed up. In the next part, we'll explore how you can build real strength and stability, even if you've never lifted a weight in your life. We'll also cover the kind of movement that doesn't just help your body, but boosts your mood and sharpens your focus, too. Stick around, because what's coming next might just be the key to unlocking a more confident, energized version of yourself. Before we begin, I want to make one thing clear. This video is for informational purposes only and is based on publicly available research. Everyone's health is different, so always consult your doctor or a qualified healthcare provider before making any changes to your lifestyle, diet, or exercise routine. Scientific knowledge is always evolving, and what works for one person may not work for another. Now, let's keep going. We've already talked about the magic of walking and the power of balance training. Simple movements with incredible long-term benefits. But let's shift gears for a moment. Because while walking gets the heart going and balance training keeps you steady, there's one more thing we absolutely need to talk about: strength. You see, one of the most noticeable and frustrating parts of getting older is muscle loss. It's not your imagination. After age 30, we start losing about 3 to 8% of our muscle mass per decade. After 60, that process speeds up unless we do something about it. The medical term is sarcopenia, and it's one of the biggest threats to independence as we age. But the good news? It's reversible, and the solution doesn't have to involve a gym or heavy weights. Enter resistance training. That might sound intimidating, but stick with me. Resistance training just means working your muscles against some kind of force. It could be a resistance band, a water bottle, a can of soup, or even your own body weight. One of the most effective exercises in this category is the sit-to-stand. All you need is a chair. Sit down, then stand up without using your hands. Repeat it slowly with control. That's it. Sounds basic, but this one move targets your quads, glutes, and core, muscles that help you stand, walk, climb stairs, and even carry groceries. It's like the Swiss Army knife of exercises. And it's not just about muscle, it's about confidence. Being able to stand up from a chair without help. That's freedom. That's independence. I know a man in his late 60s who started doing 10 sit-to-stands a day while watching TV. Within weeks, he noticed less stiffness in the morning and didn't have to brace himself every time he got out of the car. The key wasn't perfection, it was consistency. There's actually solid science behind it. A study in the British Journal of Sports Medicine found that people who could do multiple unassisted sit-to-stands had significantly lower risk of disability and greater longevity. Think about that. Something as simple as standing up without using your hands can predict how well you'll age. Now, while strength is essential, there's another aspect of healthy aging we can't ignore: flexibility and joint mobility. Because what's the point of having strong muscles if you're stiff as a board and can't reach down to tie your shoes? This brings us to our fourth key exercise: gentle stretching, especially movements like yoga or dynamic stretching routines that involve flowing from one position to another. And no, you don't have to twist yourself into a pretzel or be able to touch your toes. This is about keeping your joints lubricated, your muscles supple, and your posture upright. Stretching improves circulation, reduces joint pain, and helps you stay mobile longer. It also calms the nervous system. A little morning stretch can clear your mind as much as a cup of coffee. There's something incredibly grounding about taking 5 minutes to breathe deeply and move with intention. One simple stretch to start with: the cat-cow movement. You get on all fours, hands and knees, and slowly arch your back up like a cat, then dip it down gently while lifting your head. This motion helps your spine, hips, and shoulders stay mobile. It's especially great first thing in the morning or after sitting for a while. I met a woman named Linda at a community wellness class who told me she'd had chronic back pain for over a decade. She started doing gentle yoga 3 times a week, and within 2 months, she said her pain was like night and day. Was it magic? No. It was just mindful movement, practiced with patience. And here's a bonus: stretching, especially in slow sequences like yoga or tai chi, also improves balance and coordination. So you're getting 2 benefits in one: flexibility and fall prevention. In fact, Harvard researchers have shown that Tai Chi in particular reduces fall risk in older adults more effectively than some traditional balance exercises. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. I haven't done a stretch since high school gym class. That's okay. You don't have to go from zero to expert. Start with a couple of movements each morning, maybe while you're still in bed. Reach your arms overhead, wiggle your toes, turn your neck gently from side to side. These tiny signals tell your body, hey, I'm here, and I'm taking care of you. What I've noticed is that the older we get, the more we realize that small efforts add up. You don't need a big transformation. You need consistency. A little stretch here, a few sit-to-stands there, it all counts. And it's not just about the body. These moments become a kind of meditation. They remind you that you're still in control, still in charge of your health and happiness. That's powerful. So far, we've covered walking, balance work, resistance training, and stretching, all working together to build a foundation for strength, mobility, and independence. But there's one more piece we haven't touched on yet. And this last one might surprise you. It's not just good for your heart or your muscles. It actually rewires your brain, boosts your mood, and could even help protect your memory as you age. Curious? Good. Because in the next part, we're going to explore how movement and mental health are deeply connected. And we'll talk about one simple exercise that studies have linked to lower rates of depression, anxiety, and even dementia. This next part might just be the most important of them all, because aging isn't just about staying physically strong. It's about feeling good inside and out. You're still with me? Good. Because what we're about to talk about now might be the most powerful part of this entire conversation. So far, we've walked through the benefits of aerobic movement like walking, the life-saving impact of balance exercises, the muscle-protecting power of resistance training, and the healing magic of stretching. But there's one more form of movement we haven't touched on yet, and it goes far beyond bones and muscles. It touches your mind, your emotions, even your memory. I'm talking about rhythmic, coordinated movement like dancing. Yes, dancing. I know maybe it's been a while since you moved to music, but hear me out. Dance isn't just for the young or the graceful. In fact, science has found that dancing is one of the most effective exercises for brain health, especially as we age. A study published in Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience showed that seniors who engaged in regular dance classes not only improved their balance and coordination, but also showed measurable increases in brain volume in regions related to memory and emotion. That's right, while most brain regions shrink with age, dance can actually help grow them. And it makes sense when you think about it. Dancing combines movement, music, memory, and social connection. It gets your heart pumping, but it also activates the hippocampus, the part of the brain critical for memory. It challenges your coordination, timing, and attention span. And when you add music, especially songs that make you smile, you're tapping into emotional centers that help you feel alive again. I remember meeting a couple, Jack and Rosalie, both in their early 70s. They'd signed up for a community ballroom class just for fun, as Jack put it. What started as a light-hearted date night quickly turned into something more meaningful. Jack, who'd been feeling sluggish and forgetful, started remembering the steps faster. Rosalie, who had struggled with anxiety, said dancing gave her something joyful to look forward to every week. And perhaps even more than the health benefits, dancing reminded them who they were. Not just retirees or grandparents, but vibrant people still capable of learning, laughing, and feeling young. And here's the best part. You don't need a dance floor or a partner. You don't even need perfect rhythm. Just turn on some music you love, something that makes your toes tap or brings back memories, and move however you want. In the living room, on the patio, even seated in a chair, you can sway, clap, and feel the beat. Because healthy aging isn't about perfection. It's about joy. It's about moving your body in ways that lift your spirit, sharpen your mind, and keep your heart open. Now let's talk honestly for a moment, because I know this all sounds great on paper. But when real life shows up, aches and pains, low energy, maybe even fear of falling, it's easy to get discouraged. Sometimes the hardest part isn't the exercise itself. It's just starting. You might wake up and think, I'm too tired today. Or, what's the point now? That inner voice can be loud. I've heard it too. But here's something I've learned from countless people who've walked this path before us. The secret isn't motivation. It's momentum. One small action. That's all it takes to shift the day. Maybe it's standing up during commercials instead of staying seated, or stretching your arms overhead before your morning coffee. That one motion tells your brain, I'm still in here. I still matter. I spoke with a woman named Patricia not long ago, 75 years old, living alone after her husband passed away. She told me there was a time she didn't want to get out of bed. The grief was heavy and her body ached. But she made herself a deal. 5 minutes of movement each day. That's it. She started with gentle stretches and short walks inside her apartment. Then she added light resistance bands. Today, she's doing group classes 3 times a week and says she hasn't felt this mentally clear in years. The turning point wasn't a miracle product. It wasn't a new gadget. It was her own decision to honor herself by moving even a little. That's why I want you to remember something. It's never too late. Your body is listening. Your brain is listening. And no matter how long it's been, movement can reignite your energy, your confidence, and your connection to life. And one more thing, if you're struggling with self-doubt or worry about how you look while exercising, please know that none of that matters. What matters is how you feel afterward. The sense of achievement, the boost in your mood, the glow in your skin. Those are the real results. Let's also not forget that your body has done so much for you. Decades of work, raising families, surviving illness, caregiving, showing up every day. It deserves to be cared for now, not punished or pushed to exhaustion, but gently activated, appreciated, and celebrated. So whether you're walking a few more steps each day, trying a balance pose in the kitchen, or swaying to music while making dinner, you're doing it right. These movements aren't just exercises. They're declarations. I'm still here. I'm still growing. I still have more to give. As we head into the final part of this journey, we're going to tie everything together. We'll talk about small steps you can take today, how to stay motivated long-term, and why healthy aging is one of the greatest gifts you can give to yourself and the people you love. Because aging doesn't mean fading. It means evolving. And there's so much beauty, strength, and possibility waiting on the other side of consistency. We've talked a lot over the past few minutes about movement, memory, strength, balance, and even dance. But at its heart, this conversation has always been about one thing: possibility. The possibility that no matter your age, your body still holds potential. That you're never too far gone to begin something new. And that the smallest movement, done consistently and with love, can completely transform the way you feel, think, and live. Let's take a breath and look back on everything we've uncovered together. We started with walking, a simple, almost underestimated act that turns out to be one of the most powerful medicines for your heart, your lungs, and even your mind. Walking reminds us that every step forward counts, and that health isn't built in giant leaps, but in steady, everyday motion. Then we explored the importance of balance, not just in movement, but in life. Those tiny shifts and stabilizing exercises can protect you from falls, which are one of the greatest risks to independence as we age. More than that, they teach your brain to stay sharp, your posture to stay proud, and your body to stay upright, literally and metaphorically. We talked about resistance training and how muscle really is the armor of aging. It guards your bones, helps regulate blood sugar, and gives you the strength to keep living life on your own terms. Lifting isn't about looking like a bodybuilder. It's about reaching for a jar on the top shelf without fear, or opening a heavy door with ease. Stretching entered the picture next. Not the showy kind you see on TV, but the gentle, patient kind. The kind that lets your joints breathe, releases tension, and invites in calm. Stretching isn't just about flexibility, it's about freedom. And then we danced. Because movement isn't just a chore or a prescription, it can be joyful. It can be expressive. It can connect us with our younger selves, with each other, and with the music of life that never really stops playing, no matter how many candles are on your cake. Now you might be wondering, where do I go from here? That's the beautiful part. You don't have to overhaul your life. You don't have to join a fancy gym or buy special gear. You just have to start. Wherever you are, however you feel right now, start there. Maybe it's a short walk after lunch instead of going straight to the couch. Maybe it's standing on one foot while brushing your teeth. Maybe it's turning on a favorite song and swaying in the kitchen. These tiny decisions are like little whispers to your body that say, I haven't forgotten about you. We're in this together. And if you ever feel discouraged or like progress is too slow, remember this. Every minute you move, every muscle you stretch, every balance you hold is a vote for your future. Let's not forget that aging isn't the enemy. Aging is the evidence that you've lived, that you've loved, lost, learned, and survived. It's not about resisting the years, it's about redefining them. There's a powerful quote I love, and I think it fits perfectly here. It's from Dr. Christiane Northrup, who said, "Getting older is inevitable. Aging is optional." Think about that. The number on your birth certificate might climb each year, but how you feel, how you move, how you live, that's yours to shape. And science backs this up. Studies from Harvard, Stanford, and the CDC consistently show that people who remain physically active into their 60s, 70s, 80s, and even 90s experience lower rates of chronic disease, better mental health, and greater independence. In fact, regular movement can be more predictive of longevity than even weight or blood pressure alone. That's huge. That means you hold the power. Not your genetics, not your past, not even your current limitations. You. Of course, there will be days when energy runs low or motivation fades. That's normal. The goal isn't to be perfect, it's to be persistent. To listen to your body, to rest when needed, but to keep coming back to that gentle promise you made to yourself. I will keep moving forward. So here's your invitation. Start small. Be curious. Try new things. And if one movement doesn't feel good, try another. There's no one-size-fits-all when it comes to healthy aging. What matters is that it works for you. And please don't do it alone. Invite a friend. Join a walking group. Sign up for that free Tai Chi class you saw at the community center. The social connection that comes with shared movement can be just as healing as the exercise itself. Now, before we wrap this up, let me say one last thing from the heart. You are not invisible. You are not irrelevant. You are not past your prime. You are becoming. You are a story still being written, a melody still being played, a light still shining, and movement, even the smallest kind, helps that light glow even brighter. So take that walk. Stretch those arms. Pick up that band. Move to that beat. Your future self is cheering you on already. We'd really love to hear from you. If you have any suggestions for future topics or questions you want answered, write to us in the comments below. We're here to help, and your input could inspire our next video. And if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss out on more practical tips for healthy aging. Here's to living your best life at any age.